Ka'olah, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Brakatahawa, Brakatahawa Shai, Brakatahawa, Brakatahawa Shai, Brakatahawa, Brakatahawa Shai, the water, Abba, Paul, Kadash. I like to give the honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that teach us His truth, which we know is the 100% truth, the true word of our Lord. Yeah, other Israelite groups that are out here, but they're not preaching the 100% truth. A lot of them don't even profess to say that they preach the 100% truth. So you have to be very well aware of who you're listening to and what groups you're falling behind. And a lot of times when you first come into this truth, you're so happy to realize you're Israelite that you follow a lot of these groups and you see that the doctrines doesn't match up. So you have to be very careful that you don't get misled, because some of these leaders may have been compromised. Some of them just may not, they're just here to be a stumbling block. And especially in these last days, these prophecies are very important that you understand and know these prophecies and know how to maneuver and what to do and who to call on. See, a lot of these groups will not even tell you the name of the Lord. They won't tell you that the Father name is Yahweh and the Son name is Yahweh Shai. And those are things that we should be calling on. A lot of them still calling on Jesus Christ, JC. But that's a lesson for another day. But what I want to do a lesson today is on, because I always get up in the morning and I watch, see what the latest news is going on. And the major topic, the big thing is going on is happening over there in the so-called Middle East. And how that reflects upon these prophecies and these end time prophecies, because things are going to line up. Everything is going to lead to the MOTV. And MOTV is going to have to come into play before these last two prophecies, happen. Before there's a World War III. And we're right at the precipice of the beginning of all these things. And where we see it lining up, I think they had supposed to be a peace talk or a ceasefire talk that's supposed to happen yesterday. Evidently, everything got thrown out the window, so everybody went to the respective side without a deal. So now they're saying that Babylon the Great, America, is saying we're going to shut down the Strait of Hormuz. You just can't make this shit up, man. It just gets crazy by the day. Well, evidently it's already been shut down by the Persians, Iran. Iran is the Persians in the Bible, goes back to that. So now the United States, we're going to shut it down. So it's really a lot of posturing, a lot of propaganda is going on, and these things eventually it's going to boil over sooner or later. All it takes is one little mistake, one mishap, one taking a threat the wrong way, one accidental discharge, and next thing you know, everybody's going to be rolling in, man. So we at that time, man. It's a beautiful time that we in, but we at that time, and so we're seeing that this is going to have a ripple effect. I think we're already in maybe 5 weeks into this war, and maybe might be even longer. Time is going so fast, and we're seeing the ripple effect of how it's having an effect on the economy. Oil, transportation moves by using oil, gasoline, which affects trickle down effect, which plays out on these nations' economy. And a lot of people in Babylon the Great, they seeing the effect of it. They seeing the gas prices going up. When gas prices go up, the food prices go up. Everything's going up but your wages. So people are disgruntled, they're pissed. And then now there's talk about, maybe economic shutdown, limited work hours to save and preserve. And all those things, anytime these oligarchs understand, anytime you can create chaos, you take advantage of that situation. So that gives them an advantage to bring in a new system, man. And that new system is going to be a control system. It's going to be that digital system, a system of control. And they're going to force everybody on this digital grid. We see these data systems going up everywhere, these AI data systems. They putting those up at a record pace, and that's for the 6G that they're going to bring in, which is going to entrap everybody into that system globally, Well, you're not going to be able to buy or sell unless you go through the beast first. He wants his hand in every transaction. And unless you're tied into that system by digital all, Revelation chapter 13, verse 16, it goes into that. No man going to be able to buy or sell unless he take the mark. The mark is something that's going to be a charagma, a digital implant. It's either going to be in your hand or somewhere in your head. So we in that time, man. So we seeing the collapse of Babylon the Great. It's going on 250 years. 250 years is usually the average lifespan of a dominant power, you know. And you ain't just line it up so perfectly, man. You can't line up any better. But let me hit a scripture precept real quick before I go any further. We'll go into Revelation chapter 18. Just bear with me for a second. Revelation chapter 18. And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. So we seeing that Babylon in future prophecy is going to be destroyed, man. It's going to be turned into a desert wasteland. All those ICBM missiles, those nuclear bombs, are going to be dropped on Babylon the Great. Going to turn everything into glass, man. And and this has been prophecy to happen. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. They took part in her, oppressing and slavery and all these other things, and not mention other abominable acts that they do. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich from the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard a voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people. Who's my people? We're talking about you Israelites, man. Come out of her. Not a physical come out, but a spiritual come out. We separate ourselves spiritually. That ye may be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. And that's that talking about that judgment. That judgment is going to be handed out, and we don't know parts of that judgment, man. That's why we repent now while we can, and we call on the name of the Lord, man, to rescue us out of what's about to befall. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double to her her works, in the cup which she hath filled to her double. So all that punishment and hell that she pushed out, she's going to receive the same thing, man. And like I said, the heathen's going to catch it. And 2/3 of our people are going to catch it because they look at themselves as being like the heathen. So they're going to catch that swift judgment as well. We're going to drop down to verse 8. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death, mourning, and famine, and shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord God, Yahweh, who judgeth her. So in one day, man, shit's all going to fall down. It's going to go downhill or like overnight. So let's look at the, we know how the Roman Empire went down. That takes us back to, the dragon being wounded. That was the Roman Empire. And in America today, Babylon the Great is Rome 2.0. That dragon was healed, man. That wound being healed was those 1,000 years that she was out of commission. And then she came back and rebuilt. And now we have what we have today, man. With the so-called Europe. And America being that whore that sits upon the beast. So let's go back and look at the correlation between the two nations, and what caused them to fall. Controlled most of the known world. That's what Rome did. They controlled most of the known world at that time. Dominated military, economically, culturally. Global superpower, military, dollar, media influence. Hundreds of bases worldwide. That's America, Shalakia. That's what America is. Global superpower, military, dollar, media influence. She controls all the media all over the place, all over the world. Global superpower, by her sword, she rules, man. That's the blessing of Esau Edom is that sword. Hundreds of bases worldwide. I think she has like anywhere from 600 to 800 bases worldwide. No other nation comes even close. You know, parallel, both became dominant world powers beyond rivals. Economic expansion, debt, and equality. Rome debased currency, reduced silver and coins. So they started taking the silver out of the coins and making it with cheap metals. So that devalued their their so-called dollar at that time, or their money currency. Massive wealth gap between elite and common people. And what we have going on in Babylon the Great, man, the wealth gap is growing. They pretty much wiped out, damn near wiping out the middle class, man. There's not going to be any middle class. It's going to be two-tier system, the rich and the poor. America rising, and the rich and the poor is like maybe the rich is going to be the 1%, and everybody else is going to be the poor. And once they bring in this system, it's just a perpetual slavery, man. America rising national debt. I think the debt is up in the trillions, man. It's like 40 trillion, something like that, and it's still climbing, man. It's jumping because they talk about putting so much money into this war chest. I think there's DJ Trump has asked Congress to pass a bill so they can continue to fund their war chest, man. It's way up in the numbers. Let's look it up real quick, see what the national debt is for Babylon the Great. What is the national debt for America? $39 trillion, and it's steadily climbing, man. Steadily climbing. And that's just like anybody, man, on their deathbed. You go to the doctor and they give you a bad prognosis, man. They say that you maybe got a few months to live, and you got them credit cards, so you gonna run the tab up because you ain't planning on paying them back. And that's what Esau Edom, Babylon the Great is doing right now. It's like, fuck it, we know we ain't coming back from this. Matter of fact, they purposely crashed in the system so they can run this digital system, man. They're trying to create a new world order, which they constantly talk about. Presidents have always talked about this. Rising national debt, inflation concerns, growing wealth inequality. Like the beloved elder Apostle Hart was saying in one of his videos today, man, we're going into what he called not just inflation, but we're going into what you call hyperinflation. So let's look up hyperinflation real quick. What is hyperinflation? It's just a simple Google search. Hyperinflation is an extreme, rapid, and uncontrollable economic event where prices for goods and services rise by over 50% per month. And that's what they're doing, man. We're going into hyperinflation. And like scripture tells, man, it's going to happen like overnight. Before you know it, the dollar is going to be damn near done away with. And then we're going into this hyperinflation. People going to be suffering, man. That's what's going to bring on Jacob's trouble. You talking about a draft and all these other things. People ain't feeling it, man. People struggling, so it's going to get ugly out here. People going to be kicking in doors. Going to 2nd Ezra chapter, I think 16 goes into that, man. St. Matthew 24, going to be insurrection. So that's what you're talking about, hyperinflation, man. Hyperinflation is not a good thing, Rome, this is what they did. They had excess in luxury, entertainment, gladiator spectacle events. That's what they had during that time to keep the people focusing on dumb shit that doesn't really matter, while the politicians and corruption continue to um, loot the government, loot the people. loss of discipline, and civic virtue. And that's what's going on today. Now, America feel a lot of entertainment. What they doing now, NBA playoffs, Super Bowl, Major League baseball, all these things, events, entertainers, what's going on in P. Diddy trial or major events, Jay-Z, Nicki Minaj, all these things they keep throwing at you, man. That sleight of hand technique. You pay attention to this over here while we go in here, we do this over there. You know, pushing every day, eroding your rights, taking away your rights, man, and putting you into that perpetual slavery that they're trying to put you in. Consumerism, distraction, declining social cohesion, and then especially with the advent of social media, man, they really got the mind of the people. So they just got all these. That's why they invest heavily into a lot of these influencers to distract you, Jakes. It's not only the music anymore. Music's pretty much dead, man. Movies are dead. So now they put all their things to keep the people like enchanted is through these influencers that they put out here. People that speak well, eloquently, to distract the people, tell them a whole bunch of nonsense. Keep you focused off what's really going on. Rome couldn't defend vast borders effectively, relied on mercenaries. Well, let's look at America. America, global military presence, spread all over the damn place. Like I said, over 600 to 800 military bases in how many foreign lands? Too much territory, strain on resources. Cause right, like I said, they're trying to police what's going on over there in Far East, then what's going on in the so-called Middle East, and down what's going on over here in south of the border. Talking about taking Greenland, Venezuela, Mexico, maybe talking about taking over Canada. There's just so much going on in the pot right now. Then you got the Epstein files, which is pushing their hands on a lot of shit. It's beautiful because they try to distract you from one thing while they do another thing, and it just put them further down in that rabbit hole, getting them further stuck in that trap. The parallel internal division weakens the empire from within. It has steady eroding away. And one of the things that's eroding away is power, man. When this truth came out back in the 1960s, beloved elder Abba Vivens, when this truth first started coming out, that was the beginning of the great millstone. Starting chipping away at the foot of the statue that's talked about in the prophet Daniel. Once this truth started coming out, it started taking away all their credibility, man. People started looking at them from a different lens, even though they don't fully tie into the truth, but it opened up a floodgate of events, especially with the event of the with social media, uh, with the internet. This truth is going out all over the world, man. People starting to see things for what it is, and they can't get a grasp on it. They can't control the narrative anymore like they used to when they controlled the airways. Final phase, decline, not instant collapse. Rome didn't fall overnight. Gradual decline over centuries took time. And we seeing this place been going down over time. And that's why, it's ironic. Trump would come out with the slogan, make America great again, the MAGA thing, the MAGA movement. And all that was just to give people something to hope for, man. But we see what's happening, man. This is second term, man. We're not seeing this place coming back again. Look like it's just getting worse. Food going up, prices going up, wages going down. People are suffering. Places about to collapse. The infrastructure is about damn near about to fall in. While all these other nations are coming up. It didn't fall overnight. It's a gradual decline over centuries. What they call gradualism. Gradualism, what they use to lure people into the MOTB by eroding your rights, slowly but surely. Western Rome fell in 476 AD. American current observation. Not falling, but some see early mid-decline patterns. Yes, that big debt we was talking about, that's up in the trillions. There ain't no coming back from that, man. Empires don't crash instantly; they erode over time. Then all of a sudden, pretty soon, the led's going to fall out. She's going to crash all at once, and that's what they pushing this crash, man, so they can bring in that digital system. Biblical lens, people connect to this. Daniel chapter 2, which goes into succession of kingdoms. You know, Daniel chapter 2, it talks about when it goes into the writing on the wall, you know, for the Persians at that time. Revelation chapter 18, the fall of Babylon the Great. Who's Babylon the Great? It's AK modern day America, man. That whore that sits upon the beast. And Obadiah chapter 1 verse 4, pride brought down. Go to Obadiah, who's talking about the Edomites, who ruling the world right now, the Edomites. You know, who's the antagonist of the Bible. These Edomites always has, always will be. And Lord said, in the Bible it speaks, you know, Lord saying that, roughly paraphrasing, Jacob is Esau is the end of a world, and Jacob is the beginning of the new one to come that follows. So we're at the end of Esau's rulership. So ChatGPT says the Bible never explicitly says America is Rome, but we know America is Rome all over again. Even the politicians, they speak of it. I think when Trump was running, he was saying we're Rome. You know, I think he just built a arch like the Rome in D.C. here recently. So we know that they're the modern day Romans, man. And if we know through the Spirit, those same people are brought back again. And we know Trump as being Nero, man, doing the reincarnated as Nero, from Nero to Trump. The correlation is this, and Nero was one of the last presidents, and we're going to pull that up. Rise to power, expansion, wealth. The correlation is this: rise to power, expansion, wealth, inequality, moral shift, military strain, eternal division, gradual decline. Let's put in explain Nero. Yeah. Like the beloved elder apostle Tar been saying, Nero is Trump, man, back in the reincarnation. You know, you look at the image of Nero on the bus, they have a lot of physical similarities, not to mention the characteristics. Nero is one of the most talked about emperors when people discuss the moral political decline of Rome. But to be clear up front, he did not cause Rome fall by himself. Of course, same way Babylon the Great, Trump didn't cause this. It's been going on way before, man. It's been so much corruption that's been going on, you know, and stealing from the people. And then a lot of those politicians that's supposed to be running the country, a lot of them been bought and paid for. So it's all about corruption. They getting paid on the back end. You know, then they have these lobbyists. Lobbyists is nothing but another word for extortion. It's just a legalized way to extort these politicians, man, to vote on their behalf. And that's what caused them to fall, because it's not doing things that make sense. They're doing things because there's an agenda behind it to destroy, to collapse. Everybody looking out for their own self-interest, not for the nation as a whole. Rome fell centuries later, 476 AD in the West. Nero represents the early sign of decay, not the final collapse. Who Nero was, ruled in 5468 AD, became emperor as a teenager, initially guided advisors. Okay. One of the biggest events tied to Nero, a massive fire destroyed large parts of Rome. Ancient source says Nero possibly allowed it and took advantage of it. And that's like a psyop, man. And what is Babylon the Great is known for is psyops, creating situations to sway the mind of the people. But its lavish palaces afterward, I'm not sure what else saying. Persecution of the Christians is one thing Nero is known for. Nero blamed Christians for the fire. And like I said, that's a psyop or a brutal execution. So we know Nero, President Trump is Nero. He's that cruel overlord, man. He's the one that's going to bring in that final persecution on you so-called you Jakes, man. You see what they already doing with the Northern Kingdom, and it's going to eventually going to lead to the Southern Kingdom. It's going to be brutal. It's going to have executions. Like I said, when it come out to the MOTB, they already have those guillotines in place, man. Nero is famous for extreme luxury and indulgence. Public performance facing singing emperor, disregarded for Rome tradition. Executed rivals, including his mother. Lost support of the Senate of the military. That sound like Trump. You don't pay the Congress or these senators any mind. He just does what he wants to. Same way he went in Iran. He didn't talk with anybody. He said, "This is what I want to do." Really, we know he's been controlled by those small hatters over there. And then eventually, the elites at the top face revolts across the empire. And right now, this nation is totally divided, man. You still have those few MAGA people in there, them diehards. And the rest of the countries, man, is just split all over the place, man. All type of derision. Declared an enemy of the state, committed suicide in 68 AD. What happened after Nero? His death triggered the year of 4 emperors. So it was 4 emperors after him. And civil war and instability. Civil war. So, hey, like we might be going into that. That's talking about Jacob's trouble. Nero role in Rome's decline was a big picture. Why people connect Nero to prophecy. Said Nero wasn't the direct fall of Rome, but he was a warning sign. Through him, people started to see he exposed corruption, excess, abuse of power. He triggered instability, loss of trust, internal conflict. He caused all that. Rome fall came later, but leaders like Nero showed that the empire was already decaying from within. If you connect this to today's, like connecting the dot, people often compare Nero type leadership to modern systems. Power without restraint, entertainment over responsibility. Look what they pay these entertainers, man. It's crazy, crazy amount what they do because they have a significant role in keeping the bullshit going, man. And a lot of them we know are tied in, man. They juiced into the system. They know what their job is. They don't pay them because it's so good and entertain the people because they're supposed to keep the people distracted. Persecution of truth. A lot of those entertainers, man, they all connect to the Illuminati, Masons, all these other things, man. But yeah, man, we definitely at that time, man. And every day you wake up is something new. You got to see which way this thing is going. Like I say, it smolders for a little bit. The next thing you know, the flame picks back up. And eventually it's going to be flame on, man. It's not going to be any extinguishers. It's just going to go all out. When they say peace, beware. That means that destruction is at hand, man. It's going to be major war. Right now, we're in the times of wars and rumors of war. Pretty soon, all hell is going to unfold, man. But not until the MOTB, because all roads is leading to the MOTB. So, Lord will, man, it's edifying. Keep your head on the swivel, pay attention, stay up, and focus on this truth. Shalom.